If you're struggling to get views and especially people to follow you on Instagram or short form, you might be making the same mistake that's killing 90% of creators' growth and actually has nothing to do with posting more content. Actually, posting more might hurt your account if you make this one overarching mistake that I'm about to show you. Now, how do I know that? Well, recently, thousands of creators have applied to get their account reviewed by me, and I keep seeing the exact same pattern over and over again. So let's fix this whole thing together. Okay, so the first one here, shorts hoard, whatever that means. But it's actually a very, very interesting niche if you take a look at this, because it actually has very, very big potential to make a lot of money here if done the right way. Now, he said he's struggling to get back on track after a break, and his followers are actually going down after a hiatus. Let's actually take a look right here, and we're going to identify some of the quick fixes, some of the things that I would change right away. And then I'll run this whole profile through my custom-made profile review AI bot that you can actually get for free down in the description below. So generally speaking, in order to convert viewers into followers, people that actually follow you, there needs to be a total alignment between your content as a whole, everything you see there, and what you portray on your profile all the way up here. And your profile actually serves the purpose of pushing people who actually just watched one of your videos over the edge, kind of instill some FOMO, fear of missing out, to kind of follow you, to not miss out on more content. That's the only thing it needs to do. And this needs to be pretty aligned. And if we take a look at his profile right here, this whole thing is just not there. It looks cool, right? I understand that it's sort of like an artistic kind of thing. It looks cool, looks very minimalist, but there's nothing here, right? We have pretty cool content. We're not going to get into the content that much right here. But as soon as somebody comes from a piece of video here to the profile, I'm almost taken out of this whole thing, right? I've almost forgot why I'm here, like why I actually wanted to check out more of this profile, if you understand what I mean. So, you know, if we look at the profile right here, Dice Crafter from Poland, Europe, cool, right? So not bad, interesting where you're from. You mean Poland and South America? And then the second line here is backup account, which makes me wonder, why do you have a backup account? Why is that the only thing? Why do you want people to click there for your backup account? I don't think that serves any purpose. So the first sort of principle here that we need to follow with everything regarding our bio and profile is we want to focus the attention on your content and focus the attention of people staying there, right? To consume more of your awesome content. Obviously, this is why your content needs to be good, because if you have bad content, people, and that's kind of what I meant at the beginning, if you have bad content, people come to your profile, see, well, bad content, leave again, that's a bad thing. The algorithm is going to downrank you. Same thing, by the way, being if you have awesome content, sort of like here, I'm not saying it's awesome, there's room for improvement, but it's pretty good content. People come here and the bio just takes me away. People are also going to leave. They're going to, first of all, click there. Then they're like, there, oh, 2 pictures. I don't even know what's going on. I leave. People are gone. The algorithm actually notices that, and you're basically get downranked. Same thing with the story highlights. They serve a specific purpose. Story highlights are really, really important to kind of push people more over the edge, to kind of make them understand what you're about and kind of give them a reason to actually follow you, right? And here, 2 out of 2 reviews actually confuses me. 1 of 2 reviews confuses me as well. Me, I don't care about you. Patreon, I actually hate Patreon. Sorry, Jack. But what should I say? An FAQ, that's actually kind of cool. But even these things, they take me away as opposed to kind of reel me in. And none of these things sort of get me to become more interested in your content or you as a creator. The first thing you always have to ask yourself is, what's in it for them? What's in it for the target audience? I see a picture, I come to your profile, I'm like, okay, I'm interested in something. I need something because I like dice. In this case, I don't know, there's nothing in it for me. Just some storefront, right? And people hate being sold to on social media right now if it's not in an organic way, if people don't feel like they're selling themselves, right? If you get what I mean. The other thing is, obviously you want to sell your dice here, and that's obviously nothing bad. That's actually something good. And like I said, if done the right way, has the potential to make you a lot of money. So we have a link down there. Obviously nothing entices me to go on this link, right? Some special people, you know, talking about a call to action, but some special people who are really invested, they might click there. And actually, let's click on there as well. And the first thing I see, which is actually kind of interesting, is a big search bar, right? This part of a landing page or whatever it is the most important thing. Actually, the whole part above the fold, but especially this top part. And I don't see anything. I see a search bar. So people are going to get confused. They're going to leave. And then if they scroll down here, they see a bunch of, it's kind of pricey, man, which is cool, by the way. That's actually a good thing. But as we can see, they have so many choices here. And I'm like, Now even I want to buy one of these, but like there's so many choices. I don't know, too many choices. I want to go away. Again, I want to take a look at a monkey. I'm a simple man. So choices generally are bad, whether it's on content with your profile or with the whole monetization part. You want to kind of focus things a little bit more. And what I would suggest you to do to massively increase people actually buying your stuff are some limited time drops, right? Some special drops, some special themes. They also have the second purpose of helping you build your community in terms of the content, because you can then install a content strategy, not like a countdown, but like hyping something up. You know, for example, I'm just gonna riff-raff here, but let's say your target audience, they're into Stranger Things, right? Because this kind of reminds me of that. And there's the last season coming up. Also, I don't think there's I don't know, but let's just say there was next month, next year, or in a few months. You can start some sort of recurring series where you basically take people through you creating these limited things, hyping them up and saying, okay, so we're going to create these. Here's the process of how I do them. There's just going to be 3 sets or whatever, or 5 sets or whatever it is. Make some extra stuff, some smaller things, maybe just to get people in the door, like a lower ticket, 20, 30, 50 bucks, just one of them or something like this. And basically limit them, right? And kind of lead them towards what we call a drop, right? Limited time offer. And that way you always have something, basically something that you work towards. Now, with that being said, let's not even overcomplicate this. Let's take this thing and pull it into my custom trained profile review AI bot that you can actually get for free down below. It's actually a light version of what my clients in the creator mentorship have access to, where we work one-on-one, maybe creators like you, and help them build and execute your personal perfect content strategy based off of your goals, based off of basically everything. We help you through the whole process together. So yeah, so let's take a screenshot right here and let's actually pull this through. So what you're going to do is just say analyze or something. Doesn't matter. Ideally you take a screenshot, put this in there, right? Again, you can get it for free down below. I don't know how long I'm going to leave this up because a lot of people would actually charge for this quite a bit. So the thing it's going to do is it's going to analyze your profile, just generally speaking, right? Again, it's just a light version. We can't 100% analyze and optimize your profile without knowing your goals, without knowing your target audience, and lots of other small details that actually make a difference. But it's getting you there quite a bit. So first of all, it's going to analyze your profile picture. It's not readable or recognizable in small sizes. I mean, I don't think it's that bad. I think it looks good. So that's the other thing. If it looks good, you can sometimes break the rules. But yeah, I generally agree with that. People connect with people and not with logos. That being said, I don't think it's the biggest issue here. Then it's going to analyze your following count, because you don't want to have your followers and following to be, the following especially to be too high in terms of trust score, and the algorithm actually downranks you if you have more than 1,000 people that you follow. Let's not even get into that. And then it's going to analyze your current bio. Value proposition missing. Really, really important. Why should I follow you or buy from you versus any other dice artist? There you go. Curiosity trigger. Basically something that pushes people over the edge. Not there, right? Call to action just via the link, but that's it. Then it's going to analyze your story highlights. You have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Confusing story highlights, like we said before. Me doesn't build curiosity. Very few people click me unless they already care. As we said before, people usually don't care. They hate you until they love you. They just care about themselves. And there's no visual or emotional connection via covers or some highlights or some pinned posts as well, right? You don't have visible pinned posts. I think you actually do here. So there you go. What makes them pricey? Are they balanced? So I think that's actually a good point. So let's not even kind of get into this. And then it's going to give you different optimized bio versions, right? It's important for you guys, if you use this yourself, is that you don't just copy and paste blindly, mix and match, think a little bit differently, add your own spin. But this is a very good starting point for this whole thing. So the first, professional and clean artist, Dice Maker Poland, tiny worlds inside every role. Ooh, I kind of like it. Shop and custom dice below. Okay, cool. Personality forward. I trap galaxies and dice. Oh, that is also cool. The thing is, for these things, right, it depends on your target audience and who what your actual audience actually identifies with. Could be with both. Could be, who knows with what. But yeah, handcrafted in Poland, one set at a time. Gives this sort of crafty feel, what people love for collectors who see magic. Premium dice made like no one else. Resin art meets function fantasy. I don't like this. Honestly, this is too much of a kind of salesy vibe right here in this case. So now It also gives you a highlight strategy. Let's not even get into that as well, but we can already see something interesting. So let's just quickly go over this. BTS, really, really important to kind of build connections, show your craftsmanship, and show a little bit more about your story and how you go about things. Fans, if you have people, customer reviews, other people sharing you, stuff like this, social proof, we need that, right? Because people will buy that. And here it's doing what I kind of told you about before. Talks about drops, upcoming drops, recent drops to create urgency and FOMO to get people to buy whatever you have, right? Really, really, really important. So yeah, to kind of summarize this whole thing, we need more connection. We need to use the bio in a strategic way to kind of get them to kind of raise their buyer temperature or the follower temperature step by step, to have them go through your stuff, to start a connection with you and to become interested and to actually following you as a creator because you have something that they actually love about whatever it is. All right, so let's move into the next one. By the way, if you want your content review like the ones right here, join my Creator Club newsletter, mailing list, basically down below, and I'll actually send you the link to sign up for these things whenever I do these kinds of videos. So the second one is actually pretty interesting because at first glance, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty legit, right? And the content is mostly about side hustles, right? And at first glance, it looks professional, kind of good, right? She actually says, Emily is her name. She actually says her goal is to make more affiliate sales. Her roadblock is creating engaging and converting content with high engagement, right? We're going to get a little bit into that in a second. So like I said, at first glance, it looks pretty cool, kind of okay, not bad profile picture, a little slanted, but whatever. However, by the way, there is actually a small trick in terms of profile pictures that I like to use to kind of make it a little stand out a little more. Because if we kind of look, the contrast is not really there. And yes, it already begins with profile pictures. Tiny changes there actually can make a difference. So what I always do with profile pictures or even with my YouTube thumbnails or covers on Instagram is I'll pull them through Photoshop. Actually downloaded Emily's picture already illegally. And what I do here is I go to the camera raw filter, play a little bit with contrast, just right there, just a little bit to make it a little nicer, the whites, whatever. But the important thing is vibrance a little bit up, just a little bit. Maybe saturation just a little bit. But here's the thing, texture quite a bit and clarity, right? It might look a little weird now, right? A little over the top right here if you make it big. But remember, on the phone, it's going to be very, very small. So, you know, it's going to be small like this. And just take a look at this right here, right? It just pops a little bit more. And it actually makes quite a bit of a difference, especially if you look at it from a phone. Now, here's where it actually starts to get really, really interesting because especially the Instagram algorithm has certain issues with some phrases and words that you might be using in your content and especially in your profile, especially if you're in a certain niche, right? So if you're new here, you've never heard me talk about the Instagram algorithm, which I tend to do quite a lot because that's basically all that I do, analyzing this damn thing. There's this one thing, part of the Instagram algorithm called the spam, that I call the spam detection algorithm, right? Which is basically here to avoid spammy behavior, punish spammy behavior, whether it's certain links, think about spammers, scammers, and basically getting rid of weird people that destroy everything, weird marketers a lot of the times, right? And the spam detection algorithm is especially trigger friendly in certain niches. For example, everything to do with money, investment, crypto. You kind of get the idea because that's where you usually get these DMs and stuff like this, these comments, right? Because there's just a lot of scammers out there in the money area, obviously, right? And especially here, the first thing that I see right here is the first story highlight, free money, right? Without even clicking on this whole thing, the algorithm sees that as well. And it's like, free money, that might be a word that spammers use a lot, right? You also have an email address in your bio, which is nothing bad per se, but in conjunction with your niche, with this word, cashback, bank, and then the email address and free guidance might be okay. DM me is another call to action. Again, all these things individually, not a bad thing, but as a whole, if we look at them together, the algorithm could see, whoops, it's probably spammy, right? Same thing with the link tree. Let's take a look at this quickly. Yep, this one looks especially spammy because £10 sign up bonus, sign up bonus, sign up bonus, free stock. Ooh, these things are all trigger words. get paid to play games. It's going all the way down. Because here's what's up. The Instagram algorithm, the crawler actually clicks your link and looks at what's going on, what you write there and what's behind these sites. So you want to be careful. And this just looks really, really spammy. So I'm pretty sure that your profile might have some flags in terms of the, almost ate this mosquito, could have some flags in terms of the spam detection algorithm that kind of cap your reach a little bit. So first thing, take a look at your link tree or whatever you have and clean this thing up. Because the other thing is people are also going to be overwhelmed by the things that you have there. They see all these sign up bonuses. They might be also like, oh, might be a spammer. She might be a scammer. But also, like we said in the first profile, they get confused. There's too many choices. They're like, I don't even have reason. I don't even know what that is. I don't want to sign a bonus. I'm sure there's some catch to it and stuff like this. Generally speaking, with all things marketing, with all things content creation, you want everything to be as simple and as easy as possible for your audience, right? Think about it like this. They have one need, they have one pain point, and you have your solution or solutions that kind of cater to their need. That's it, right? Not a million different things and stuff like this. So what I would recommend here is to actually offer a free guide, which you do, but to kind of promote this more and just have this free guide in there and nothing else. Get their email address, and then with your newsletter, you can actually send some value newsletters to gain trust, which by the way comes back to people watching your content as well. And then in these newsletters, you can but promote your offers and these $10 sign up bonuses and stuff like this, right? Way more organic, way better for everybody involved. Now, if we take a quick look at the content itself right here, doesn't look that bad. Actually, quite interesting, but I think it kind of looks, again, taking a look at the whole thing, the big picture, it kind of looks a little one-dimensional, and it kind of doesn't really hit me in terms of not just the hook, but just in terms of the overall stakes and the whole trust issue thing that we've talked about, right? Because you want to stand also with your content, stand out from the sea of spammy one-dimensional creators right here. Because people look at you like, oh, another girl who tries to sell me into some pyramid scheme or something like this. And you're like, how to make $175, how I made, you have a lot of how I side hustled certain amount, for example. You know, if I just look at this, like, you could be a scammer. That's all I know. I don't care. I don't even understand what this whole thing is about. I don't have a reason, right? I have no way of knowing whether you're legit or not. And like I said, people have massive trust issues right now, especially in your niche. So you need to deal with this trust issue thing, both in your content as well as in your bio. So in the content, I think of some sort of overarching pain, and it again comes back into your knowing your target, actually understanding your target audience. For example, I've seen that you make money with playing a game somewhere. I saw this. So instead of saying, well, how I made 700 pounds last week, you could just say stuff like, you wouldn't believe it, but I just made 200 pounds last week by playing a game. Yeah, I didn't think it was possible to, but here's how you can get started. Instantly a totally different frame, and it kind of opens yourself up away from how I made. Basically, look at me. Maybe she's trying to lure me into signing up somewhere, to basically listening to your story, which makes people connect with you, right? Which lowers this trust barrier quite a lot. So let's quickly pull herself through the bio analyzer. Again, you can get it down below for free, totally for free. And let's see what it comes up with. Profile picture, good. Again, I would make it a little different. But yeah, so bio, the current bio, wasted first line, name repeats, username plus category. I'm not sure if that's actually true. It's side hustle summer is what she has. It's seasonal and doesn't say what value people get from following you. Totally agree, obviously. Free guides to side hustles isn't formatted to stand out and lacks the punch. Includes email and bio, not ideal. Again, another thing with the email and bio, let's not even get into this anymore. But here's the important thing, slight spam flag risk. Free money, offer, references, and highlights plus call to action, DM me, begin, plus multiple links might be prone to getting spam flags. So here's some recommended ones. UK side hustles made simple, learn smart apps and cashback tricks. Actually not bad. Side hustler UK. I test weird money hacks so you don't have to. I love this one, right? Again, it's the personality focused one. These are usually recently the ones that I love more, that are not preachy. Let's not even get deeper into this because I think you get the idea behind this whole thing. And let's continue with the next profile right here. Next one here is Urs. I hope to actually pronounce this the right way, but he's basically a panic and anxiety recovery specialist who grew with trial reels, but now he's kind of struggling to find effective ways to grow. By the way, they've limited trial reels recently. I'll make a video about this. The times are over. Not really, but yeah, you get the idea. This one's actually pretty interesting in the sense that if we look at him, right, profile picture, I think we've talked about this before, could be a little stronger, but I like the way he's smiling. He looks genuinely approachable. I'd love to have a coffee with him, honestly. But also in terms of the picture, the bio itself right here, overcame panic, now I teach peace. Not that bad. 10 plus years experience, 9 proven methods. A little preachy, but not bad. Free guide to calm your mind quickly. And then there's the link. These things are actually pretty okay. I think they're actually good to go. They're not hindering him in a sense, yet he has trouble getting followers. Here's the third major issue that wrecks people's growth, especially in Instagram. It's basically a disconnect between the content and the bio, right? In this case, if we look at the content, you know, just whatever content there is, for example, right here, slightly blurry, handheld, slightly shaky, not really good quality right here too. Really, really bad resolution, graininess, handheld. Well, this used to work 2 years ago. Doesn't really work anymore. That was cool. This one's a little better, but yeah, you get the idea. So if we go back to the bio itself is not bad, but I just sort of don't believe the bio, if you know what I mean, because I don't really trust a profile. Remember, the bio is there to kind of push me over the edge. I come here, I see all of these big sort of bold claims, but they're in total disconnect with sort of the low quality of the content, the low production quality. And here on the channel and in my creator mentorship, for example, there's one thing that we talk about again and again that helps you way more than other things, and it's production quality, nice lighting, no shakiness, really, really bad. The algorithm hates that. Blurriness, good audio is basically really getting really important, more than it used to be, especially on Instagram. TikTok's still a little different, but Instagram especially. And sometimes that's literally the only thing people need to fix, right? So either get a better phone, camera, lighting equipment, stuff like this, especially if you want to get more people to join your coaching or whatever it is that you have to offer. So you need to sort of invest in that area, and it's actually going to be a good investment. I can tell you that. So for example, let's take a look into that. It's a handheld video. There's the fake blur. By the way, people don't like that. If you use fake blur it a little less, but this is only good if everything else is congruent. So here, for example, if you're in your room, we can clearly see you're in a room. There's lighting. The lighting is not that bad, but it's just not congruent, right? If you're in a room right now, we need you to be on a tripod. We need the camera to be on a tripod. It needs to look a little more professional, especially with the audio. Let's take a look at the audio right here. Okay, audio is okay, right? But it just doesn't look professional. It just looks like you're just there at home, just trying out some stuff. Whereas we need you to look like a purposeful creator who went through something. We'll get to that in a second, but who actually wants to help me, the viewer, and has something for me, the viewer, to offer. Here's an example, by the way, of somebody who does this congruently. Basically the same niche, and he's also just walking around outside with a handheld video, and it works, 95K likes. And there's a lot of shakiness and kind of breaks a lot of these things, because I know you guys are going to be saying, damn, Nick, I've seen somebody, he breaks all the things that you talk about you shouldn't do, blah, 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 blah. But it's the whole big picture again. It's congruent in a way. And here's the actual thing that might kind of shock you. I'm almost sure that he has some sort of video light next to his camera, because look at his face. It's perfectly lit in this kind of not perfectly lit environment. So this is all intentional. He wants this whole thing to kind of make you feel like he's taking you it's just some random thought, but it's all intentional. He set up lighting, and like that, it just looks totally different. Just if we look at these two things side by side, it's night and day, right? Even if it's sort of similar. Now, again, speaking of this whole trust barrier thing people have, right? Especially similar to before, you want to show your own story a lot more, your struggle as much as possible, especially in your story highlights, which are right now not really there. Again, you know, we're kind of starting to see a pattern, and in your pin posts, because that's the only way to distinct yourself from all the others out there, right? And the only way to kind of get potential clients and followers to relate with you, because there's only one you, right? So that's kind of also the easiest way to get people to follow you and relate with you. So for example, let's take a look at your Life Now story highlight. First of all, nobody's going to click on it because Life Now, I'm like, okay, what does it mean? I want to know what it was before, and then we need some sort of friction and resolution, you know, basic storytelling. But if we look at this, the first story highlight is 92 weeks ago. which is kind of a long time. So it's outdated and there's like a billion different stories in there. So nobody's going to click through. Nobody. They're going to exit out and they're not going to be happy in terms of the Instagram algorithm and leave. So you're going to get some sort of bad flags for that. Also, it's kind of hard to read. I don't even know what's going on here with the hierarchy and stuff like this. And I genuinely don't understand what the purpose of the story highlight is, right? So I'm just going to click away. At the same time, again, it's titled Life Now. So I'm sort of expecting some sort of transformative story or struggle and getting to know exactly why I should listen to you, you know, because maybe we do have something in common that makes me latch onto you personally, but nope, nothing. So you actually kind of push me away. Quite the opposite of what you want to do with this. So let's actually fix this whole thing together now and let me show you the difference. I'm going to take, let's say 5 minutes, okay, to quickly come up with a video, an idea to kind of get people to connect with me. And then I'll actually show you 2 different versions of the same video with different production quality, all made with the same thing, which is just my phone. Let's see in a second. The panic attack that changed my life actually happened in a Starbucks waiting line while I was waiting for my coffee. It actually taught me the 3-second rule that stops anxiety right there and then. 2 years ago, I was actually the person that looked put together from the outside, right? While my mind was constantly racing, putting in worst case scenarios 24/7. The breaking point that actually happened was I was literally waiting for my morning coffee in front of a Starbucks in the checkout line, and my heart started pounding, racing, and I really thought I was gonna have a heart attack and die right there and couldn't breathe anymore. Horrible. Maybe you've had that before. And it was this moment that actually forced me to find what actually works instead of just generic advice that says breathe in and breathe out. It didn't work for me. Okay, so that was the one that's a little more professional in a way. Here's the other one. The panic attack that actually changed my life happened in a Starbucks waiting line. And it actually taught me the 3-second rule to deal with my anxiety. Do you actually you just see the difference right here, both in terms of production quality, but also establishing that trust element, right? That is so powerful to get people to actually to listen, to want to know more part of your story, to actually trust you, to help me in a way, especially if you have that as sort of a pinned post right there or pinned story to kind of re-hook people that just came to your profile. Really, really powerful. I hope you understand that right now. By the way, talking about hooks, actually none of these things I talked about today will help you if your hooks suck, which by the way, they do quite a lot with most people that I took a look at. So what you want to do is watch this video next to see me actually fixing real world hooks so you can actually get your account going. See you.